Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome once again. I hope we had the opportunity to go through the videos and the material I left last week for the asynchronous self-study lecture. So after that, today we are going to continue by looking at the next part of our lecture. Next topic in our course, which is going to look at the basics of arrays. And then next time we meet, we will complete that and then go further and look at functions. So without wasting much time, today we are going to be talking about arrays, what they are, and then we are going to learn how to declare arrays, how we can program or write programs to access array elements. And then we'll look at the two kinds of arrays you can encounter when you are programming. And then we'll look at how to process one-dimensional arrays and then two-dimensional arrays, and then what parallel array is, and then some reasons why you as a programmer may want to use arrays in your programming, okay, and why you may not want to use array or would like to use another type of data structure. Okay, let's jump right in. So an array is basically a collection of or a collection data structure that stores data or values of the same type. Okay, when we say an array, we are simply referring to a way to group a list of things with the same name. Okay, so for example, if you remember, when you create a variable, when you create a variable, let's say X, you can only put in one item into the variable. What it means is that in computer memory, you have asked memory to reserve some space where you can store only integers, and you have put in the number 0 into that space. But what if you are going to the market and you have to buy maybe, let's say, 50 items? Do you have to create 50 different variables to store each item? Or we could instruct the computer to create space where we can keep all the 50 items or so by differentiating or distinguishing one item from another. Okay, so this is the concept of what array is. Array is pretty much something like this. Variable is like this. Variable, we can only store one item at a time. But if you want to store more than one item at a time, you will probably need to understand and create something called an array. An array stores more than one item at a time. Okay, in fact, it stores the number of items you will specify. If you want to store 2 items, an array can store 2 items, all with the same name, and the 2 items have to be the same type. And like I said, they need to have the same name as well. So an array is a series of values in memory with the same name, having the same type, and usually we distinguish or we differentiate one item from another using something we call a subscript. So I will go further and you understand what subscript means. So for example, like I said, you want to go to a shop or market and you want to have all of these items. You can't create variables for every single item, okay? You cannot create variables for every single item. You need a way to create one array that can store all of the things you need, so that once you create that array, which contains items, you just need to store your milk, your bread, your wheat, your rice, your gari, your so and so and so. Okay, So that is what an array is. So instead of creating multiple variables, an array just lets you create one array that can store all of those items under one name. Okay? Understood, my dear friends?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's put, yes, sir.
No,
Yes.
I was responding to what you said.
Okay, okay, thank you. So like I was saying, an array allows you to create a special container to store a group of items. So look at an array as variable we always see as a container, okay? And an array is also a container, but this container stores groups of items. The items, like I said, have to be the same type. We already mentioned the various data types, okay? Remember, in programming, there are several data types. So we know that we have integer types. We know that we have float. We know that we have string for letters. We know that we have characters, okay? We know that we have Boolean and so and so, okay? So they all have to be the same type and they all have to have the same name, okay? So usually think of it this way, that when you create an array, so for example, you declare an array of type maybe int, okay? So let's say in our programming, we declare an array of type int, and we call this array max, okay? And I tell the computer I want to store the max of, your class is about, I think, 40 or 50. Let's just say I want to store 50 students max. So this is all I will need to do. This one line can create space for me to store max for 50 students. Instead of creating 50 different variables, one for each student. You over there, you need to write declare int max 1, declare int max 2, declare int max 3, declare int max 4. Okay, so instead of doing that, working so hard and getting nothing out of it, you can work smarter and get something exciting done. Okay, now in order to differentiate the first one from the second one and the third one, we use subscripts. Subscripts are also called index. So if you hear index or subscript, it is just a way we number the items. Because they all have the same name, we need to tell which one is the first one, which one is the second one, which one is the third one, and so on. Are we okay? Now, we start numbering the items of an array with 0. Okay, so please take note of that. We start numbering from 0. Unfortunately, I know most of you wish that we number from 1, but it is not so. Okay, so just accept that we start numbering the item set in an array from 0. Any questions? What an array is and what I've just described for you, data type, the name of the array, the index, the size of the array, and then the syntax, okay? So this is just a syntax, okay? So what you see over here is that when we are going to write our, for now, because we are not doing any programming language, when we are going to write our array, we'll follow this format. You first see that we write declare, then we write the data type of the array, followed by the array name, and then the size of the array, okay? It is similar to what you find in C++, C, and then some of the other programming languages, okay? Because you guys will do C++ very soon. So I wanted to make it very close so that when you are learning, it will be easy for you to learn, okay? Sorry. Any questions? Any questions? I've already explained data type. You already know what it is. And I've already explained the name of the array. The name of the array must be a valid or legal identifier names. So remember, you can only use letters like A to Z, lowercase and uppercase. You can also use numbers, but make sure that the name does not start with a number. And you can also use underscore or $sign in some programming languages. You can start with all of them apart from the number. You cannot start with a number. Okay. I heard somebody trying to ask a question. Please go on.
Oh, okay, sir. Sir, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Sir, please, does this mean if we have different data types, we cannot create an array?
Oh, why not? You can create an array for each data type, but you cannot store different types in the same array. For example, I'm going to the market and I need an array to hold the prices of the items. You know that the price or money is a decimal point number, right? It's a decimal number, right?
Float.
So you store all the prices in one array, which is float.
Okay.
But you cannot store the name of the item and the price of the item in an array. It is impossible because the name of the item is a string and the price of the item is a float. They cannot go into one array. No, you have to store the name separately and then the price separately.
Oh,
you understand?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Because the name is a string, which is different from the price, which is a decimal number or a float.
Okay.
Okay.
So that means we are going to create different kind of
different arrays for each data type. You cannot mix the types. Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. There are some data structures like lists, like queues, like stacks, and heaps, and so on, which can allow you to mix. Okay, they are different, but currently what we are talking about is in relation to arrays. Once you say arrays in programming, you cannot mix the types. Okay. In the future, you will learn other ones as well. Okay. So let's look at it. So when we declare an array, I have an example here. So I write the declare and then I write int num. So I've created an array of how many items? 5 items. Okay.
5.
What it means is that in the computer memory, the computer is going to look for space which are together. We call that contiguous. Okay, I think I might have. Oh, sorry. Okay, so you saw this word, it's called contiguous. What it means is that the space has to be together in memory. Okay, so we one has to be next to each other. They have to be next. Okay. So we look for space. We know that every integer is about 4 bytes. What it means is that we are looking for space that can store 4 times 5, which is what? 20 bytes. So the computer will look for 20 bytes in memory, which are together. And we'll name all of these 5 spaces num. But the difference is that the first one is the 0 index or the first item. Second one is the first index. Third one is index 2. Fourth one is index 3. Fifth one is index 4. Do you notice that over here, when you in the square bracket, when you are creating it, this one is called size. But when we create it and we are assigning positions, this one is called index. Okay, so please take note, or some people call it subscript. So please take note of the difference. Size when you are creating, index when you are using it. Okay? So here, writing declare int amount 10 means that we are creating 10 empty spaces, calling all of the 10 empty spaces amount and differentiating them using 0 to 9. Because usually when you check, you notice that the last one is always the size minus 1. Look carefully. So the size is what? 5 minus 1, so 4. So notice that the index is always size minus 1. The last one, the last one. Because we start counting from 0. Can we go on?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can see another example, float price. So the data type is what? Float. And the name is what? Price. And the number of items is 120. Instead of creating them one by one, 120 variables, you can just create one array for 120 items. Okay, so you see how easy and convenient it makes the job. Here we are creating a Boolean array called answer, which can store 25 items. In the last case, we are creating an array called student names, which is a string, which can store 25 student names. Now, initialization means putting something inside, okay? So how do we put something inside? Okay? How do we put something inside an array? You simply call the array, You simply call the array name and then you indicate the index or the position where you want to put the thing. Then you write the equal to sign or the assignment operator, followed by the value of what you want to put inside. So I have some examples. Okay. So in the first example, remember we created an array called num. Okay, let me recreate. So if we declare an array, which is an integer array called num, which has size of 5. Okay. Now we can now put items inside the array. Okay. So when we do the first one, what will happen? Inside the memory, the computer will look for 5 empty spaces which are together. Okay. Assign them index. Okay. And then at the first index, we put 10. Sorry. Second index, we put 11. Third index, we put 12. Please take note too. Even though you are seeing 2, this is the third index. This is the second. Sorry. I think my hands touch the thing a little bit. This is the first item. Okay. This is the fourth item. And this is the fifth item. Okay. So notice that even though it says 5, you are seeing 4. Even though it says, even though it says 4, you are seeing 3. So please, I want you to remember that. Okay, don't forget that. It's important. Some students forget that. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
So when you create an array and you want to put items into the array, this is how you can go about putting items into an array. That is how to put items into an array. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Sir, please, supposing I create an array for 5 and I just put only 2 items. Is it possible that way?
Yes, you can put only 2 items. Yes, it's very possible.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, any other? Okay, let's continue. So You can also, instead of putting them in one by one, you can also put them in all at the same time, okay? So like what the gentleman said, if I create an array, let me create an array with floats, okay? And then call my array, let's call it price, okay? And then make sure that the size of this array is, let's say 12, okay? Then I only have the two. Let's say I only have two. So maybe I have 10.5, comma, and then I have maybe 8.12, okay? You can do this. What the computer is going to do is that the computer is going to create spaces for 12 items, okay? Let's just, because I can't draw the 12 boxes, okay? So 12 items. Then the computer is going to put the first item or the first value inside the first space. And then the second value inside the second space. Okay? The rest, the computer is going to leave empty until you decide to fill it yourself. Is it understood? Hello?
Hi.
The gentleman who asked the question, that I want to answer your question.
Yes, sir.
With this
Yes, sir.
demonstration. Okay. So yeah, that is how you can go about doing it. So this is another way to put items into an array. You can decide to put all the items in an array at once, like what you are seeing over here. So with this example, with this declaration, look at the example I have down here. So now, example number one, the array is called items. Notice that over here, you can put a number here or you can leave it out. You can decide to leave the number out only if you are putting the items. What the computer will do is that the computer will count the number of items, okay? So counting from here, we get 5 items. And then the computer will notice that, oh, items contains 5 things. Do you understand? Because the computer can count. But when you are simply declaring without putting items, okay, when you are simply declaring without putting items, you should not leave it empty. Okay, always put a number in the size. But when you are doing something like this, you can leave it empty, okay, because because basically the computer is going to count the number of items and put the size over there itself. Here too, the computer sees that there are 1, 2, 3, 4. So the computer knows that names contains 4 items. Oh, the gentleman with the microphone on, kindly turn your microphone off. We can hear. You may be disturbing others, okay? Now, after putting items or values into an array, then we get to the exciting part. The exciting part is when we want to see what is in an array. So maybe you created an array of 1,000 items. You want to see what is at position 551. Okay? Maybe the array is called, oh, sorry. When you touch this thing, it goes off. Maybe the array is called items. Okay? So all you need to do is to write the number or the position of the thing you want to see. So you want to see 551. That's all. All you need to do is to follow this format. If you want to see position 0, all you need to do is to type the name of the array and then the position you want to see. If you want to see position 9, you just type the name of the array and the position or the index you want to see. Remember, index or position 9 is what? The 10th item. Position 0 is the first item. Position 551 is the 552nd item, because arrays start counting from 0. So you can't say that because you are seeing 9 in the index, it means you are seeing the 9th item. Are we okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm glad you understand that. So now that we have understood those things, somebody will ask, okay, say, how do we then get all the items from an array? If I want to see every item, yes, I'll come and show you. But for now, let me show you a very quick demonstration. So you look at the array. Maybe we create an array called sales, and we decided to put these items or these values inside sales. Now, somebody comes and says, oh, show me what is inside position 1 or the first position. So you know that because we start counting from 0, the first position would be what? Index 0. So you have to type the name of the array, and then inside the square bracket, you type index 0 or 0, the number. Once you type 0, the number, you will see what is inside position 0. Then if you type 1, you will see the number inside position 1. If you type 2, you will see this one. But I want to emphasize that this is what you need to type. Okay. So you need to, if you want to see the fourth item, you need to type the 3. If you want to see the fifth item, you need to type the 4, because we start counting from 0, the fifth item is 4. If you want to see the sixth item, you want to type 5, because we start counting from 0. And finally, if you want to see the sixth item, you have to type 7. Sorry, the seventh item, you have to type 6, because we start counting from 0. Please, are we clear about it?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? There are no questions, then we proceed. Now, there are 2 or so, let's say about 3 main kinds of arrays. Okay. Basically, there are 2 main kinds. There's one-dimensional and multi-dimensional. The multi-dimensional can be 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions, and the rest. But because in most books you find 1-dimensional and 2-dimensional, that's why I have to indicate multi-dimensional is also possible. Okay. It's very important you understand why you are seeing 2-dimensional and multi-dimensional at the same time. Okay. Okay. So 1-dimensional means that you have just a list of items, one dimension. Okay, list of items. The array is in one list of items. Okay. Then 2-dimensional means you have a matrix of items. Okay. So for example, if you want to store a matrix, you use 2-dimensional. Okay. Then sometimes we have 3-dimensional or 4-dimensional or 5-dimensional or 6-dimensional. This type of thing we call multi-dimensional. Okay. So multi-dimensional, we can have 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional. We can create that based on what we want to build. Okay. So please take note of that. Here we need an example of 1-dimensional array. Oh, sorry. An example of 1-dimensional array would be if we create an integer array called maybe price, and then we gave you just 1 dimension. So you can see only 1. Oh, this thing keeps stopping. You can see only 1 value, okay? Only 1 value, so it's 1-dimensional. So for the 2-dimensional, if we create an integer two-dimensional array called price, we have to indicate that there are two dimensions. Okay, there's a row, what we call a row, and a column. Okay, then multi-dimensional, another example would be that if we have maybe 10, maybe 5, maybe 12, okay, something like that. So you can see that the number of brackets we have is why we call it dimensional. Okay, so the number of dimensions. Okay, in fact, two-dimensional is also a multi-dimensional array. Okay, now let's look at how do we see or process all the elements inside an array. Okay, so if you have a list of things all with the same name and you want to print every single item in that list of things, what's the best way to go about it? Okay, now the best way to go about seeing or printing all the items inside an array, because they have one name or the same name, the best way to do or achieve that is to use a loop. Okay, a loop. So because we have just one item, okay, we have an item, even though there are maybe 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 items, they all have the same name. The only thing that changes is their index. So all you need to do is to have an array, or sorry, have a loop that has a start and a way to end. So if the loop has the size 10, then you always start from 0 and you end at 9. If the loop has size 20, you always start from 0, end at what? 19. And you keep changing the index +1, +1, +1. Okay, so this will help you change it +1, +1, +1. Okay. You know that everything that is a for loop, you can also write it as a while loop. So this first part goes up here. The second part goes into the check or the test. What is the test? This is the ini or initialization. Then down here is the update. Okay, we already spoke about this last week. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So given that we have an array called sales, it's a floating point array. Okay, and we want to allow the user to type something inside, to input something inside or into sales. Okay, we want to let you put something inside. Okay, so instead of saying, oh, input sales position 0, input sales position 1, or input sales position 2, all the way to position 9. Okay, we could do this. Okay, we could type this if we have time, or if the array is very small. But if the array is maybe 1,000, you can't keep typing input sales, 1,000. So here too, we don't want you to work hard. We want you to work smart. So the smart way to go is to design a simple loop. The loop, look at it. Nothing is changing. The only thing that is changing is the number inside, the index. The only thing changing is the index. So it's moving from 0, then +1, then +1, then +1, then +1, all the way to the last number. Okay, so you just need to write the index to start from 0 and end at the last number. Remember, as for arrays, you must always end at a number less than the actual size. Because we start counting from 0, if you are supposed to, the size is 10, you are supposed to end at 9. Okay, so please take note of that. Okay, So now you just write this one, and then instead of putting a number inside the bracket, you put the array index. Sorry, you put the loop counter variable. Okay, the counter variable. Usually we use a for loop, but you can also use a while loop or a do while loop. Okay, so please take note of that. Okay, so I've written the same thing as a while loop. You can see the initialization, this part. You can see the test, you can see this part. And then you can see the updates, you can see this part. And then all you needed to do is to copy this one and paste it over here. Now, if maybe I want to put 0 inside every position, same thing, only that you set the index and then the assignment equal to 0. Okay, remember we do set, not inputs. Okay, so please remember that one. Then maybe you want to, this time around you have entered and now you want to see the result or to experience or to see, yes, you want to see the results of your computation. So how do you see the results? You need to do write. So here too, instead of doing write sales number 0 to see the what's inside number 0, write sales number 1 or write sales number 2 all the way to number 9. Okay, instead of writing this one by one, you should not write it one by one, but instead you should use a for loop or a while loop or a do while loop. Here you create a counter variable, set it equal to 0. Make sure that you end exactly at the last number, which is 9, and then increment it +1, +1, +1. Okay, and then what you do, you write and then the sales, and then inside the square brackets you put the counter control variable, because this one will be changing from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 all the way to 9 because of this plus plus. You remember we said plus plus means that we have index is equal to index plus 1. Okay, we don't want to write this long thing, that's why we write plus plus. Any questions? Is it understood?
Yes, sir. Sir, please, for the for loop, when you are initializing the variable, can I choose any name for the variable?
Oh, yes. None, it doesn't have to be indexed all the time. I use these names because I want my students to understand quickly. Okay, but you can use I, you can use X, you can use T, you can use anything you want. Okay.
All right,
Sir, good morning, sir.
Okay, sir.
Please, can you come again, please?
What do you mean by come again? I don't understand what you mean by come again. Come again with
please,
what?
With
the gentleman's answer or what?
No, please, with the explanation, sir.
Which
this particular one?
The sales one
yes.
I have over here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I was just simply saying that instead of writing everything one by one like that,
oh my goodness,
you can write everything one by one. We don't stop you from writing, okay? But what if the size of the array is 100, 1,000? Will you write them one by one? You cannot write them, write sales 0, write sales 1, write sales 2, write sales 3, all the way to write sales 999. Okay, so don't work like that. Instead, you can clearly see that the same thing is written every time. The only thing that changes is the number over here. So you just need a loop. So for example, you write a loop, okay? And then remember, loop only needs a counter variable, right? The for loop only needs a counter variable. Start from 0 because the array starts from 0, okay? And then you make sure that I should end at the, make sure that I should end at the size of the array. So make sure that it ends at the size. Remember, if you start from 0, you will not get to 1,000. Okay. Hey, who is that? Turn off your microphone. Come on. Hello. Turn off your microphone quickly before I let them kick you out. Okay, so thank you very much. So, yeah, so you need to make sure that you can end at the size, because when you start counting from 0, the last number will be 999. Okay, that will get you to 1,000. Okay, so this one will make sure that you end at 999. Then every time, look at the number carefully. So you see it moves from 0 to 1 to 2. What are you doing? You're just adding +1, +1, +1. So make sure that I is ++. Okay, and that's all. And then you just do right, and then the name of the array. And then instead of writing a number here, don't write a number, write the I that will change, because it's the I that will change. So the I will move from 0, then the next time it runs, it will go to 1, and the next time it runs, it goes to 2, then goes to 3, then goes to 4, then goes to 5, all the way to 999, because of the for loop. Loops are for repeating things, repeats. Understood again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now let's look at a practical demonstration. Okay. So practically demonstrating this, we can say maybe, for example, if we ask that, oh, there we have an array called sales. Okay. And sales has maybe 10 items. Okay, you can see sales over here. Sales has 10 items. Okay. So there are some numbers inside sales. We want to see the total of all of the items inside sales. So originally, what we would do is that we have maybe sales position 0 plus sales position 1 plus sales position 2 plus sales position 3. You can see that this kind of way of doing things is very difficult, because you have to write or type everything. This is also not very smart. So the smart way to work is that if you look carefully, notice that it's just sales, same sales all the time. Maybe you are putting the answer inside sum. Okay, same sales all the time. The only thing changing is the index. Look at the index. Here to the index is going from 0 plus 1, so +1, +1, +1, all the way to 9. Okay, so how do we make this easier? You simply use another loop, but this time you work smart. Create a variable called sum. Put 0 into them, because we know that whenever you add anything plus 0, it is the number. Okay? Do you remember that if you add 0 to anything, you will get the thing back again?
Yes,
so
sir.
Because of that property of 0, you can create something or a variable and put 0 inside. Then you can set up your, at least for now, at least at this point, most of you know what these 3 things are. Okay? So we start from 0, we end at the size, and then we keep increasing +1. Okay, everybody knows this one. Then what do you do? What you do is that you set, or you do a calculation where you are adding the 0 to whatever is at that particular position. So you are adding 0 to whatever is at that particular. So when you start, remember when we start, index will start from 0. Okay, so whatever is in sales at position 0, you add to sum, and then you put it inside sum. Then you go and come back. When you go and come back, it's +1. Remember, index is plus, so +1. So you do, so you do position 1. Then you add it to the old, you add it to whatever you got as the sum. then you put it inside sum. Then you go and come back, you do plus, you do whatever is at position 2. Then you do whatever is at position 3. Then you do whatever is at position 4. Then position 5. Then position 6. Then 7. Then 8. Then 9. Then when you are done, by the time you are done, it will be like just adding it like this. Okay, so that's what this one too is. A smart way to add all the items from the first to the last one. Okay. Same thing I have written over here. Same thing written as a how do you call it? As a while loop. So you can see same thing here, same thing. You can see the initialization, same thing here. You can see the test, same thing here. You can see the update, same thing here. You can see this one, same thing here. The only thing that changed was the while loop. This one's a for loop. That's all. Okay. All you need to do is to learn that this is a for loop. This is how we write a for loop. This is a while loop. This is how we write a while loop. That's all. Okay. Then here, another example, I want to show you how to find the largest number. Okay, so for example, I have an array of 10 things. Okay, this array is called sales. Position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5, all the way to position 9. Okay, I want to find what is the largest item. So it is like making so I have to go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 all the way to 9. So this one is a loop. Okay, you need a loop. You need to loop through the item. But every time you go to an item, you want to check it with the next item. See whether it is big. Okay, so basically, we create another variable called max. And then here we have a loop on the outside. So we have an outer loop. Okay. Remember, we talked about nested loop. Okay, so outer loop. Then inside we have an if statement. Okay, so we have an if statement. So this if statement is the one checking whether, this if statement is the one checking whether the first item is bigger than the second item, or the second item is bigger than you see. So you keep checking the first and the one you are holding and the next one, and then you keep going back and forth until you find the biggest one. The biggest one is what will be returned. Okay, so same thing written over here as a while loop. Now, let's look at this issue. This issue is important because you guys will soon be writing programs in C++ and the rest. And you need to be made aware of this issue. It's called array out of bounds. So this array out of bounds can happen when you, the programmer, create an array. So for example, over here, we create an array of size 10. So doing it like this is the same as writing int items, right? 10. It's the same. Okay, don't be scared or don't be lost. It's the same thing. Size contains 10, and you just put size over here. So it means items has what? Size of what? 10. That's all. So what it means is that we have index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. Now, anytime you mention items and you give it any of these numbers, whether 0, whether 1, whether 2, whether 3, 8, 7, what have you, you are correct. As soon as you give it a number which is not part of this, you are wrong. That is when we say that you are doing an array out of bounds index. Okay, you are trying to call something which is not there, or use something which is not there. So for example, if I call items and I give it the number 10, you see, some of you will forget. I know whatever I mentioned over here, some of you will still forget that we start counting from 0. Because you see 10, no, you want to call 10. The moment you do this in programming, we say that you have done an array out of bounds error. The error is that you can only use 0 to 9, but you have used 10. So you are asking the computer, where is the 10th item? But the computer is seeing only these numbers there, but the computer is not seeing any 10. So you are trying to confuse or to tell the computer to bring something which is not there. Okay. A typical example of a place is something like this. So let's look at this example. So in this example, we created an array. We created an array of 5 items. So you can see 5 items. We start counting from 0. And then instead of using less than over here, the person decided to use less than or equal to. What it means is that the numbers which make this true are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 included. But we know that if you create an array of 5 items, the actual numbers which are only included are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The actual numbers which are only included are 0 to 4 because 0 to 4 are 5 items. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you noticed that? So you see, okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you see that 5 is not part, but the moment you have done this, you are asking the computer to put 5 over here. Where is the computer going to find the 6th item? Because there's no 6 items. You created space for only 5. So as soon as you do something like this, you are illegally trying to call a value which is not there. Okay, so please be careful. Don't do something like this. Always do this one. It is not healthy to do array out of bounds index. Okay, it's not very good to do that. So please, let's not do that. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Let's hear you.
I just want to verify something. So the 0, no, the 1 always goes to the the 1 always goes to the 0, and then the 2 comes to the 1, and then the 3.
First, look at, say it this way: the first item, not the 1. The first item.
The first item.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions about array index? This one is very important. Please do not forget it. Don't create 5 items and ask your computer for 6 things. If you are writing a language like C++, it's not going to end very well for you.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Sir, please, some of us we were having network issues, so we just joined.
So I should start the entire class?
No, sir.
I think you should just watch the video when we post the video. I
Okay,
cannot
sir.
do the entire class, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, please, can I also allocate the index manually, or that one is being assigned by the computer?
No. Okay. Once you create the item, once you create the array, the index has already been created in memory. So you cannot create it manually, okay? But you can assign the values. You already saw earlier that we can assign the values. Where's that? We can assign the values manually. Okay, so you saw that. Sorry. So do you see this one? We can assign the values manually. But as for the index, they are already there. Once you create the array, the index have been created. Are you okay?
So what I mean is, I want, maybe I've created an array of 5 items,
Okay,
but I
so
want
you mentioned the thing you
I
want.
only
Mention the thing. Hello. Calm yourself down.
yes,
I'm trying to help you answer your question. So mention the thing. So for example, you created an array of 5 items like this.
yes, please.
Okay, and what do you do?
And I have only 2 items to
Oh, but
put
I
into
already mentioned this thing earlier. Did I not?
And
A gentleman said the same question, and I answered the question that you can't put the items there. You are
yes, sir.
allowed. Yes, you are allowed. Why
And
not?
I want one to be at the index of 0, and I want the other one to be at the index of 4. Is it possible?
So I'm going to show you. You can actually tell the computer that, oh, you want the third item to be maybe 5. 8. And then you want maybe the last item to be maybe 12. Okay. What it means is that in memory, okay, in computer memory, there are 5 spaces. All these 5 spaces are called A. Okay. This is index 0. This is index 1. This is index 2. This is index 3. This is index 4. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then remember, we only put something in index 2. So index 2 contains 8. And then we only put something in index 4. It contains what? 12. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's 12. So that's it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's all. You can do it if you want to. Just that remember, in some programming languages, if you don't put anything in these 2 or 3 spaces, some of them, they put 0 by default. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Some of them. Language like Java will do that for you. So that the reason is that if you try in programming, if you try to call an empty variable, you get an error. Your program will crash. Okay. So what they don't want you to do is that they don't want you to, you know perfectly well that there's nothing inside position 0, but you go there and you go and ask the computer to write what is at position 0. It's going to end very badly for you. In C, your program will crash unexpectedly. Okay. In C++, I think these days you get 0 by default. Okay. So some of the languages have tried to stop. What you don't want as a programmer is your program to be crashing all the time and showing those errors to the user. It's a very bad sign of bad programming technique. Okay, it means that you yourself don't understand what you are doing. Okay, so to avoid that, we ask that if you know perfectly well that you have not put things in the other positions, don't go and print them. Okay, else your program will crash and you bring it to me and ask me, say, why has it crashed? But you yourself know that you didn't put anything there. Okay, is it understood? Do you have any further questions on this no values thing?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. Out of bounds. Okay. So it's called partial initialization. When you create 10 and you only put a few things there, which are not 10 items, we call it partial initialization. So what happens in most programming languages is that if you create an integer array, because we don't want your program to keep crashing, okay, the part where you didn't create anything, we put 0 there by default. Okay, that's it's a safeguard measure. It's a safety measure to prevent your program from crashing. Okay. Okay. Now, so earlier, one of the gentlemen was telling me that they wanted to store maybe the names of some items and the price of some items. Okay, and I've told you that the names of the items are strings, while the price of the items is a decimal. So you cannot store it in the same variable, but you can store the names as one variable, one array, and you can store the prices as another array. When you have two arrays which are related, like for example, you have an array of names, which corresponds to an array of prices, then we have something we call parallel arrays. Then we can treat those two things like they are one item. Okay, so we are going to talk about parallel arrays now. So basically, parallel arrays are two arrays which are related, which have related information. So like I was saying earlier, you have names and prices. So you have maybe pepper, 2 cedis, onion, 5 cedis, tomatoes, 10 cedis, that kind of thing. We will create two arrays, one to store the name and another one to store the price. Okay. Now, here in this example, you are seeing two arrays, price and quantity. And you can see that they will have the same. Now, parallel arrays need to have the same size. It's an important feature of parallel arrays. If they are related, then they need to have the same size. If there are 20 items here, then there need to be also 20 items here, so that every item in price has a related quantity. Okay, so please take note of that. So usually we use parallel arrays to store something like a database, okay, related data. And then the subscripts must relate to each other. So let's look at an example. So we have an array called string, an array called name, okay? So we have name, and then we have an array called age. So notice that the size over here is 5, the size over here is 5. So Yao is 12 years, Kweku is 20 years, Pete is 18 years, Akosia is 14 years, Efia is 16 years. We know they are related because they correspond, okay? So please take note of that. Okay. Now, all you need is a for loop or a while loop, a counter control loop, which will start from 0, and then the last number will be 4. Okay, so notice that we didn't do less than or equal to 5, but we did less than 5 to indicate that the size is specifically ending at 4. Then every time we run, notice that every time we run, this will be index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. So we are doing +1, +1, +1, +1, +1. So plus plus. So my name is, then I'll mention the name, maybe name at position 0. So we should print the age at position 0. So my name is Yao, I am 12 years. My name is Kweku, I am 20 years. My name is Pete, I am 18 years. My name is Akosia, I am 14 years. My name is Efia, I am 16 years. So that's how it corresponds. Another example. So here we have a variable, an array of 100 items, and then another array of 100 items. They are parallel because they are related. Names and sales they make. Okay. And so I ask the user to enter the name and the monthly sales. And then now it says enter 0 when you are done. It means that I'm going to create a sentinel control array. Okay. So I have a while loop, which will stop when you enter star. And I have an if statement, which is checking the sales against the maximum. Okay, we've already seen how to determine the maximum of a number, okay, or of an array. If you have things in an array, I want to check which one is big. We've already seen how to do that. Okay, so I just plug that in here to do that over here. Okay, so from here, we'll get the highest or the largest sales. And then from the largest sales, we can know who is the person with the highest sales. Okay. So this example. Now, finally, let's put a cap on this one. We have two-dimensional arrays. Okay, so in a two-dimensional array, when we say two-dimensional array, we are simply referring to an array that can store a matrix of values. Okay, where if you remember your primary school days, we call this the columns. Okay, and then we call this part the rows. So row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3 means that we have 4 rows. Okay, 1, 2, 3 is 0, 1, 2, 3 is 4 rows, and then 0, 1, 2, 3 is also 4 columns. So basically, we would declare a two-dimensional array like this. We need a box or a square bracket for rows and a square bracket for the size of the column. Then in memory, this is how the items will be stored. So this one is, let me use the red. This one is row 0, column 0, row 0, column 1, row 0, column 2, row 0, column 3, row 1, column 0. Remember, you see the column and the row. Okay. So you just pick this one. It's just like Excel. You pick this one. So 1, 1. So 1, 2, and then 1, 3. Then now you are 2. So 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, and then 2, 3. This one is 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, and then 3, 3. Okay, I hope everybody understands this. You've seen how Excel has address for every cell based on the row and column number. That's the same idea that is done in programming. In fact, Excel picks this idea from programming. Any questions about two-dimensional arrays? Okay, so in order to declare a two-dimensional array, as I have previously said, we will declare same thing, the data type and then the array name. And here, the only difference is that you have 2 square brackets. One, the first one to handle the rows, second one to handle the number of columns. Here too, we start counting from 0. So notice that the total size of the row is equal to the size minus 1. And the total size of the column is equal to also the size minus 1. Please take note of that. Okay. Okay, so an example we have over here, we have items, which is an array of 4 by 4. So what it means is that, what it means is that the first row, this one is the row, second row, one is the row, third row, one is the, zero, so row 0, row 1, row 2, and then the final row 3. Okay, then in each row you have columns. So column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3. Remember, we start from 0 and last number is 3. Okay, so column 0, column 1, column 2, and then column 3, column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3, and here to column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay, so please take note, I have a depiction of it over here. So what it means is that if I want to maybe get a particular item, I need to know the row address and the column address. So for example, where this one and this one intersect. Okay, so it means I'll have items at position 1 on row and position 2 on column. This one will give me the number 11. Okay, I hope we understand what or how to find items in a two-dimensional array.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you just look at the row and the column address. So where the two of them meet, you just pick the number that you have. So you can do it like this, or you can enter it by hand, one by one. Okay, but here I just wanted to show you how this one can be done. Same idea. one dimension. The only difference is that we've extended the dimensions to more than one. Now, if you want to access or bring a particular item, like I showed you previously, if I want to bring a particular item, maybe the number 11, I just need to know the address of where to find 11, the row number and the column number. So over here, you can see the row ID and column ID. Okay, so for example, if I do answer, row is 3, column is 4. So I'm looking for row 3, column 4. Are we okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please, if you have questions or queries, you let me know, okay? Then if you want
Please, I have
to...
a question.
Okay, let's go. Sorry. Sorry.
With the columns and rows, would a computer understand if you declare...
Sorry, I cannot hear you very well, though.
All right. Please, can you hear me now?
Okay.
So I'm asking with declaring the columns and the rows. When you show that you declare the rows, I'm asking if you can also declare the column.
I don't understand your question.
Please, can you go back to the example you gave on the two-dimensional?
Okay.
Yes. So you see we have declare integer items 1 and 4 in square brackets. Then you declare the row to be 2, 3, 1, 0. So I'm asking, can you declare the columns to be 2, 10, 21, and 12? Then like that in a set.
Does anybody hear what he's saying? I unfortunately, I don't know if it's the network. I cannot hear him very well. Can anyone hear? Does anyone hear what he's saying?
Sir,
Yes.
please, I think he's saying that can we do the vice versa of the row?
What do you mean by vice versa of the row?
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
He meant, can you declare range of numbers on a particular column?
Okay. I still
Like
don't understand
210,
what you mean by
210.
declaring. So give me an example of what you are talking about.
Like
So you see,
he meant,
instead of the 2, 3, 1, 0, he's talking about the column. I say, can you bring 2, 10, 21, 12?
You want to declare a different set of numbers?
For the columns alone, not the row.
I don't understand still. As for the numbers, when you indicate them, I just wrote the row and the column on them. I'm just helping you to identify where to find each thing, okay? You can see that clearly. You can see this 2 is the one here, okay? But 2 is in row 0, column 0. That's why you can see row 0, column 0, okay? Is that what you're talking about? Like you want to declare another number inside 2 or what? I don't get you.
he wants to declare all the numbers in column 0.
Yes, you can declare all the numbers. There's nothing wrong with declaring, but you have seen that I've declared all the numbers in column 0. Is that not what I did? Can you give me an example, like what you're talking about?
Like he's saying the numbers in column 0, 2, 10,
Okay,
21,
so 2
and 12.
Papa, oh, calm down. 2 what?
10.
2, 10.
21.
21.
12.
12.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you just picked the first items? Did you just pick the first items?
No, I pick all the numbers in the column 0 in the 2 dimension. The example I'm seeing right now.
Okay. So you picked this one.
Yes,
Yes.
please. Yes, please.
What is wrong with that? Or I don't. What's the question about that?
So he's saying that can you declare all this just a column numbers in a particular column only?
Oh no! You must always declare them like this. As for this one, there you cannot skip that one. They must always be declared like this, and they will be labeled row, column. they will not be labeled column row.
Okay.
We want standardization so that when you write your code here in Ghana and somebody writes their code in China, we can still read each other's code. So for the programming, everything is standardized. You cannot do something different here. Even if you declare this separately, the computer will see this as row 0 still. You cannot do anything about that.
Okay.
Yeah. As for the computer, it will not do something different because you want or you feel that you should do something. No. It will do what we are teaching you as a standard. That is a standard. The standard is that we count the rows first before the columns. We don't count the columns before the rows. So whenever you declare something like this, this will be read as row 0. Then this is column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3. So in actual fact, it will be like, those of you who did some mathematics, it will be like you doing transposition. You turn this one on its head. This 2 will go here, 10 will go here, 21 will go here, and then 12 will go here. Is that what he wanted to ask? I didn't really get his question very well. So okay, I hope this is what you were asking, my dear friend. Your audio is so terrible. I cannot hear clearly what you were saying.
Yes, sir. I've understood it.
Okay. So this is the, how to call it? This is how, basically, if you write it up like this, this is how it will look like. Okay, let's go back into and then let me use a whiteboard and show you something. Please, those people who like writing on the whiteboards, don't write on the whiteboard. Okay, I'm just giving you a warning before you start. Please do not touch the whiteboard, Mr. Solomon, or say. Don't touch the whiteboard. Let the whiteboard be there, okay? So the moment you write anything, for example, we declare an integer array, maybe called A. Maybe let's do 3, and then let's do 2, okay? So the rows are 3, the columns are 2, okay? You can do this, and then you can eventually do 0, 0, okay? Maybe 5, A0, 1, maybe 13, A1, 0. Remember the size of this is 3, so 0 to 2. The size of this is 2, so 0 to 1. Okay, that's how come we did 0, 1 only. Okay, so please take note of that. Okay, then A1 1 is 15. Then A2 0 is 19. Then A2 oh, come on, hey. I said don't touch the whiteboard. Oh. Okay, then this is 1, sorry, maybe 100. So what it means is that you have a matrix, okay? You have a matrix of 3. You have a matrix of 3, of 3 rows, row 0, row 1, and row 2. And then the columns are just 2. So the columns, column 0, column 1. So here you have 5 inside this one. You have 13 inside this one. You have 22 in 1 and 0. So 1 and 0. See, 1, 0, 22. Okay, sorry. So 22. Oh, hi, Menu Stephen. Why are you canceling the work we are doing? Hey, some of you people, I don't know why you keep doing those things.
I'm sorry, sir.
I said, don't touch the whiteboard. Come on. But I think that you are canceling like that. What's the reason for canceling it? So 1 and 1. So position 1 and 1. Okay, we have 15. Then position 2 and 0, we have 19. Okay, 2 and 0. Then position 2 and 1, we have 100. Okay. So basically, this is how the arrangement. You can write it one by one like this if you feel that you want to manipulate what goes into the row and column. But the moment you write A and then you set maybe 3 and then you set this one to maybe 2 and you do the curly bracket thing, you cannot force the computer to do. No. It's not going to respond to you very well. Okay, so you have to do 13. Okay, then between 2 and 15. Okay, comma. Then this will be 19 and 100. Okay, so you see that you have your first. You can only have 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3. So this is row 0. This is row 1, and this is what? Row 2. Okay, so 3, 0 to 2 is 3 items. Then in each of the 3, you have 2 item sets. So column 0, column 1, column 0, column 1, column 0, column 1. So basically, that's the understanding. Is it clear now? Hello?
No, sir. No, sir.
Which one is
Please,
no again?
please, can we do
repeated
one more
this.
example?
Oh, no. We would waste. I need to cover them. This is like the 5th or 4th example. Come on. Let me stop this one. How do I stop this one? Okay, let's stop this one. Okay. Then my dear friends, it's a lecture. Okay, I do examples, and then you try and follow along. Okay, but after 3, 4 examples, you should try. Perhaps maybe you should watch the video again. Okay. So yeah, so if you want to access a 2-dimensional array, you need to indicate the row number and the column number. Now let's look at initializing or putting items in an array. So like I did earlier, you can put the item by indicating the row and the column number, and then the assigning with the assignment operator, right? That's the common thing to do. Or you can use what I just did earlier, right, with the curly brackets to put the items there. So here I said 3 rows and 2 columns. So we'll have 1, 2, 3. This is the 0th row. This is the first row, 1 row, and then the 3rd row. And then in each of them, you have 2 items. So 0, column 0, column 1, column 0, column 1, column 0, column 1. Okay, so that's what you have over here. So you have 3 rows and then 2 columns. Okay, you can do it by like this, one by one by hand, or you can do it like this together in curly brackets. And it's not by force to assign everything. Okay, so like the gentleman asked me earlier, you can assign what you want to assign. But remember, if you did not put anything there, don't try and print what is not there. The computer does not do magic. It will throw an error. Okay. Then how do we, so even in single dimensional, we use the loops to process. If you want to go through every item in the array, should you write them one by one? So in a two-dimensional array, it is even more important to have the loops because it's a very big array. Okay, it's a very big array. You cannot use, you cannot write the thing one by one. That's basically what I mean. Okay, so you need to use a two-dimensional array. Number one, you need to get the first loop. So here we have a for loop, and then here I have the same for loop written as a while loop. Okay, so you should have a for loop outside and then a for loop inside. Okay, the one outside will control the rows. So make sure that it is set to the size of the row. And then the one inside will control the columns. So make sure it is set to the size of the column. In this example, the size is 10 by 10. Okay, so we stop at 9, we start from 0, we stop at 9, we start from 0, we stop at 9. Same thing is done over here. You need two initialization variables, so you can see them over here as well. Then you need the two test conditions. So the first test for row, second test for column. Remember, the row is outside the outer loop. The column is the inner loop. Okay, so please take note of that. And then you need to do the update twice, one for row, one for column. Okay, please take note of that. So for example, if you want to set the item sets in this array, the array is called items. And the array, you want to put 0 inside every position. Let's say that the size of this, let's say that the size of this array is, maybe let's say the size of this array is maybe 5. So what it means is that you have, 5 is so much. Okay, let me reduce it. Let's say the size of this array is 2. Okay, so what it means is that you have 2 rows, 2 columns. Okay, so this is 0, this is 1, this is 0, this is 1. Okay, then what we do is that when we start at first, remember row starts from 0, so we are here. Then column starts from, then we'll check is 0 less than 2. Because it's true, we allow you to come inside. When you come inside, we check is, so this is column 0, so column 0. So we check is 0 less than 2. So because it's true, we allow you to come inside. So we are now seeing row 0, column 0, set it to 0, so we put 0 over here. Okay, now we have to do the for loop, the one inside, and finish before going outside. So we do +1. When we do +1, column will no longer be 0, column will be 1. Okay, so it's 1 less than 2, yes. So we do at row 0, remember row is still 0, but column has changed to 1. Okay, so at row 0, column 1, we put 0, so we put 0. Okay, then we add 1, so we come, it's 2. So 2 less than 0, we see that no, 2 is not less than 0. So because 2 is not less than 0, we have to go outside because it's false. When we are going outside, we add 1. Okay, when we add 1, this becomes 1. We check, is 1 less than 0, 1 less than 2? Yes. So we come back inside. When we are coming inside, we start this all over again. So column now becomes 0. And now we set 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 to 0. Then when we are going out, we add 1. So 1, 0, 1, 1 to be 0. Then 2 goes to false. Then we do +1. 2 becomes false, and then we stop entirely. So we stop when this one becomes false. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do it again. I know that the people who say and repeat. So I'm going to repeat again, but this time with the same thing here with the right operation. So here I want to print everything. So let's just imagine that the row was 3 and the column was also 3. Okay? Okay, so please follow closely. So 3 means that we have a matrix of 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. Remember the row is 0, 1, 2 because we start from 0. The last number is 2, even though it says 3. Okay, remember that very well. Then column is what? 0, 1, 2. Who does not understand that the row starts from 0 and column starts from 0 and ends at 2? Yes, who does not understand that? Everybody understands that that's the case, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, please, if you do not understand, I'm still prepared to. I will still be inclined to explain it to you. So don't worry. Okay. Yeah. I'm just saying that after some examples, we should at least not. We should be getting it. Okay. That's what I'm saying. We cannot keep doing examples forever. Okay. So now let's trace this one. So let me use the green. So row starts from 0. So it means we have 0. Sorry. So it means we have 0 less than. Remember, row size we set to 3. So 3. Everybody agrees.
Yes.
Everybody agrees that 0 is less than 3. Who does not agree that 0 is less than 3? Yes. I think it's an issue of the mathematics. Yes, it's an issue of the mathematics. Sometimes it becomes a bit difficult for some people to agree on certain things. But we all agree that 0 is less than 3. So if 0 is less than 3, it means this for loop is true. So we go inside. Okay. When we go inside, we encounter an inner for loop, which is asking us to set column to 0. So column is also now 0. Remember, this is called the row. This is called the column. Okay. So column is now 0. So we are also checking whether 0 is less than 3. So is 0 less than 3? Yes, 0 is less than 3. So because this is also true, we come inside. When we come inside, remember row is 0, column is 0. So we are looking at the intersection of row 0, column 0. And we are writing what's there. So maybe let's say 0 was there. So we'll be writing 0. Okay? Okay. So this is row 0. So this is row 0, column 0. Okay? Now we are not done because we are in a loop. Loop means repeat. Okay, so once we are inside the inner one, we have to do column plus plus. Remember, column is currently 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So here we are now going to compare 1 with what? 3. So it says, is 1 less than 3? Yes. So we come and do 0 and 1. Okay. So still row 0, column 1. So we print what is there. Then we are not done. We have to do plus plus again. So we come and do 2 less than 3, which is also true. Remember, all this while we have not come outside because this is not false yet. We only stop the for loop when it is false. Those who have forgotten what a for loop or how it works, go back to the video lecture, watch the video lecture, watch the asynchronous lecture, go back to the slide, do the assessment. It will help you to better understand it. Then, because 2 is less than 3 still, we are still looking at what? 0 and 2. So 0 and 2. Now we are not done. We have to do plus 1 again. When we do plus 1, it is 3 less than 3. 3 is not less than 3, so we stop. Okay? But we are not stopping because we are inside a for loop. So we have to go out again. When we are going out, that is where we add 1 to the row. So now row becomes 1. And we are checking whether 1 is less than 3. Because 1 is less than 3, we have to come back inside. When we are coming back inside, we start all over again. So we are currently on row 1, column 0. So row 1, column 0. So we'll do again. When we do again, to be row 1, column 1. When we do again, to be row 1, column 2. Then we go back out. When we are going out, we add plus 1. So row now becomes what? 2. So 2 is still less than 3. So we come back in. When you come back inside, we start. Every time you come back inside, you start all over again. So 1, 2, 1, 1, then 1, 2. When we come back inside, it will be 2, 0. So 2, 0. Then we add plus 1, so it'll be 2, 1. We add plus 1, so it'll be 2, 2. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, I lost all the writing. Oh, sorry. Okay, to be 2, 2. Okay. So at the end of the day, this will be how the printing will be done. Okay. And you can use the same idea for inputs as well. This one, I think we have explained it about twice and gone through it about twice. So I will not focus too much on this, and then we will go to the next one. Okay. And then if you want to sum up everything, it's the same thing we did earlier, just that we have the row and the column. Okay. Okay. And then if you want to find the largest number, same thing we did earlier, but here we have 2 for loops. Okay. So the one we did earlier was only 1 for loop, but here we have 2 for loops. Okay. Okay. Now, what are some of the advantages of using arrays in programming? Number one, arrays can be accessed directly using their index. You can access arrays directly using their index. Okay. So all you need to do is to just even if there are 1 million items, and you want the last item, the moment you type the name of the array and the index, and you hit enter, the last item will come. The same amount of time it takes for the last item to come is the same amount of time it takes for the first item to also come. So that's why we say they have constant time access. Okay. Then arrays store memory in contiguous memory locations. So that's also an advantage. They don't scatter memory around. They don't scatter information around memory. Okay. Arrays are simple and very practical. Everybody understands them. Everybody sees them. And because even in school, we learn about matrix and vectors, we can relate with arrays very easily. Okay, we can relate information and data and all those things to arrays very easily. Arrays are useful for multi-dimensional data representation. Okay, so data like matrices, you can easily represent them with arrays. Arrays have a very low overhead. Okay, what we mean is that unlike some other data types, if you want to use arrays, you just need to create the array quickly, deploy a loop, and then use the array easily. Other data types, you have to import add-ons, okay, or import libraries, okay. So it's sometimes very impractical. And then arrays, you can easily use them with loops and then functions and other structures. Okay, arrays are the foundational technology or data structure for things like stacks and dictionaries and queues and heaps and graphs and all those other data types. The arrays are very instrumental. And then arrays are compatible with programming languages. Most programming languages have arrays. So once you learn arrays in C++ or you learn arrays in whichever language, you can apply the same idea and understand it. Okay. So please. The disadvantage is that arrays, you have to know the size before you even create them. Okay. So number one is that the size is one of the limitations. You have to know. You cannot say that, oh, I don't know the size. You just create something. No. You have to know the size. You have to tell the computer the size of the item. Okay. Then arrays, sometimes, like the gentleman was saying, you can create an array of 20 spaces and only store 2 or 5 things. The remaining spaces are empty, but they cannot be used. Okay, so once you create an array of a particular size, the computer cannot use that space again. That space has been locked by the array until you destroy that space or remove the array from there. Okay. Then arrays are homogeneous. What it means is that you can only store one type of value in an array. So the gentleman was asking whether you can store different items like the name and the price, No. So arrays, you can only store the name, all strings, or you can only store the price, all floating points. You cannot mix the name with the price. It's impossible to do that. Okay. Then when you want to insert something or delete something in an array, it's very time consuming. In fact, it's impractical to do that generally. And then arrays in languages like C, C++, the issue I spoke about, so the user will create or the developer will create maybe an array of 5 items and will try to call the 6th or the 7th or the 8th item. In fact, arrays have no way of checking to stop you from calling the more items than needed, okay? If you create 10 items and you decide to write your loop to call 20 items, arrays will never stop you. They will let you crash your computer. Okay, so please take note of that. Some languages like C++, it has no way of stopping you. Newer languages have some alternatives that can try to prevent you from doing very harmful things to your computer. Then large arrays may cause memory exhaustion on systems with limited resources. If your array is very big and you have to run multi-dimensional for loops, maybe lots of inner loops and the rest, in fact, it will cost you a lot of computational space and time. And then arrays are inflexible compared to things like lists or linked lists or trees or graphs and the rest. Okay. I hope this lecture was insightful and you were able to grab something from this lecture. I will, at this point, leave room for some questions and answers. And then when we are done, we will call it a day so you can prepare for your next class. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please go on.
Sir, please, when you are assigning items to an array, is it always advisable to use curly bracket, or we can just use square bracket?
Assign the item, you have to, the square bracket is already taken. Did you see that? Did you see that square bracket is already taken?
Yes, please.
So you see square bracket. So you cannot also do equal to and then do square bracket. No. That is totally unacceptable.
Okay.
Okay. When you are creating an array, then you need to use curly brackets. So curly brackets is what you need to use. Okay. But the square bracket is for declaring the size of the array.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, please, when do we use the for loop and then the while loop, like the while loop? When do we use them?
Oh, that one will be my lecture on the last week's lecture, right? Hello.
So unfortunately, last week you didn't have lectures. It was
Last
2
week.
weeks ago.
Oh, we had lectures, my dear friend. You didn't maybe learn, but we were learning.
Oh no, sir, please. On our calendar, it was
it was called self-study. We had lectures. I have videos on your LMS. You are supposed to go and learn on your own. So you didn't learn, maybe, but we are supposed to be learning.
Oh, okay, all right, sir.
So you didn't learn, but we were all learning.
All right.
Don't say "ayo." You are supposed to learn on your own. It's also part of learning. Do you think you are going to the master's level? Okay, so we have to train you to learn on your own. You are not always going to be taught like a child. Okay, it's not very ideal. Okay. It's part of learning. You have to learn how to learn on your own. Hello? Did he say something?
No.
Okay, so the lecture I did last week on the loops, which the videos are there and the slide is also there and everything is there, I did explain that there are various types of loops, okay, that there are two main kinds, okay, there's pre-test and post-test. And then we learned about the various types of loops, like the, how do you call it? Like the while loop, the for loop, the do while loop, the for each loop. Okay, we learned about all of those things. And I did say that depending on the situation, you can use any of them, okay? The only thing is that the for loop is a counter control loop. Counter control meaning that when you know the number of times you want to repeat something, that is when you use the for loop. But that notwithstanding, you can use the while loop or the do while loop as well. So in my examples, every time I use a for loop, I did a while loop on the side just to show you that you can do the two at the same time. It's fairly, I want to show you an example of what I did. So where is that? So you can see whenever I wrote a for loop, I will write a while loop. And I was even explaining the various parts of the while loop, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Am I still online?
Yes.
Yes,
sir.
please.
Okay, so as for the loop and the information about the loop, you are supposed to learn that before last week and then come and use that here. Okay, so unfortunately, we don't have enough time to do a whole lecture on loops again. So you are supposed to go and watch that lecture. I did some recordings because I knew that some of you watch them on phones. I did 4 simple recordings you can download. They are about the biggest, like 20 megabytes. So you can download it easily, watch it, practice it, or put it side by side with the slides, and then as I'm walking through, it's explaining the thing to you. You can also use YouTube or any of those training sites to learn something about it. Okay. Any questions? Any other, which is not about loops?
No, sir.
Okay. So since we have no other questions and we are at the tail end of our whole lecture, I want to thank you all and encourage you to continue and persist. Please make sure you visit the LMS. Leave your questions. I've been reading some of your questions. I noticed some people have been answering the questions. That's why I've not been commenting. So occasionally I will answer a couple of them myself. But I encourage you all to visit the LMS, download the slides, get the assessments done. And then when we meet in person, we will take the homework, the group homework. Thank you very much.
We will be meeting on coming Saturday.
Please check your calendar.
We are not
Please
meeting.
check your calendar. Please don't misinform
It's on
people.
the
Just check
9th.
your calendar.
It's on the 9th of May.
Hello. Yes, don't mind the gentleman. Please let him go and check his calendar, okay? Hello, please don't let anybody deceive you. Just check your calendar yourself.
All right, sir. All right, sir.
Please go and check your calendar yourself. Don't let anybody who is confused about anything confuse you, okay? Please check your calendar yourself. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
some people don't want to check the calendar. That's why they just throw in a date just to see if you guys are following what is happening. So please allow them to check the calendar so that they can decide themselves how to go about it. Okay.
Sure, sir.
So please check your calendar. That's why you need to read the things yourself. Okay, and convince yourself that that is the right thing. So I'll see you God willing next week. Thank you.
We are grateful.
Hi.
Thank